Hi, I'm Mehreen and welcome to my critical analysis of Banksy's infamous auction stunt. Yes, Banksy, your friendly neighborhood postmodernist, anti-consumerist, anti-authoritarian, arguably nihilist political activist slash film director slash street artist Banksy. But before we jump into all of that, let's take a minute to explain the much esteemed tag of postmodernism associated with the world's most popular graffiti artist.
Really don't understand what postmodernism is. I've been told many times, and it's been explained to me many times, and I still am bewildered. But perhaps that's part of the movement.
Postmodernism as a movement rallies thinkers to be skeptical about the frameworks of knowledge introduced during the Age of Enlightenment. The school of thought encourages a more critical approach when assessing universalist notions such as objective reality, questions around morality, and social progress. To look at these notions from a postmodernist point of view, we are required to comprehend how socially conditioned and manipulated our systems of knowledge and subsequently our systems of value are. Banksy is a prominent example of an artist who through his work aims at dismantling social hierarchies and pulling attention to postmodernist ideologies by triggering conflicts of interest through his indisputably postmodernist work, which again, when viewed from the lens of a true postmodernist, can be interpreted as a self-referential parody of the school of thought in itself. In this critical essay, I will look at Banksy's viral auction stunt at Sotheby's, London on the 5th of October 2018, where he decided to shred his infamous artwork Go With Balloon shortly after it went under the hammer for a generous amount of £1 million. As I analyze the role of networked media in the extensive spread and virality of the news event beyond traditional boundaries, I will look at Banksy as a cultural and social phenomenon, his political and ethical alignments that are often showcased in his work that contradicts itself and commodified, the notions of value surrounding his artwork, and his ambiguous identity that sometimes subverts his ability to accomplish anything because of the evasive nature of his artwork. The auction stunt pulled off by Banksy was immediately shared via social media in a short video format that was captured by one of the audience members, successfully recording both the shredding and the crowd reaction. This short video format proved compatible for most social media platforms including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Instagram was particularly vital in this news event, as Banksy himself has an official account on this social media platform alone. He claimed the stunt immediately by posting a picture of the event captured "Going, Going, Gone," and he later elaborated on the technicalities of the prank by posting a directorial cut video titled "Shred the Love" on YouTube, in which he made clear how he pulled it off by using minimalistic textual aids and videography showing the installation of the shredder, the activation of the shredder, and also the complete shredding of the painting in rehearsal, which was what the artist intended according to the video, unlike what happened at the event where the shredding stopped midway, allowing half of the painting to be preserved inside the frame. The fact that Banksy immediately claimed the stunt via digital platforms aligns with the notion that there is an illusion of control allowed within digital cultures. When such a historical stunt is pulled off, there is a need for establishing autonomy and a desire for agency from the artist. As famous German theorist Florian Cramer noted,
"The main reason why art students prefer designing posters to designing websites is due to a fiction of agency, in this case, an illusion of more control over the medium." Likewise, digital cultures are driven by similar illusions of free will and individual empowerment.
The story was published by all major news outlets via their digital platforms within 48 hours. But as time passed, more sophisticated and open-ended conversations regarding the event was being taken up by most platforms. For instance, the Financial Times did more than 3 detailed articles within the time span of 2 months after the event. As time passed, the publication started employing a more critical and doubtful outlook on the stunt.
Has a frame ever had so much attention? Why did the auction house not find its unusual weight suspicious? The possible length of battery life within such a device was seriously debated on a BBC radio program.
Read one of the articles published on the digital platform. The video posted by Banksy was encoded to clearly indicate that this was a stunt planned well in advance in case the painting was ever entered for an auction. The use of textual aids and messages like, "In rehearsals it worked every time," and the footage of the bustling venue on the day of the event indicated that it was a very clever prank, almost ridiculing the high-end elitist crowd present in the room, completely unaware of what will follow. As Stuart Hall suggests,
at the moment when the historical event passes under the sign of language, it is subject to all the complex formal rules by which language signifies. To put it paradoxically, the event must become a story before it can become a communicative event.
Banksy's video gave us a clear timeline and a narrative structure to work with. Installation, activation, reaction, and behind-the-scenes activities all within the duration of approximately 3 minutes as to not exceed our limited attention span. The Apollonian and Dionysian duality can in many ways be compared to the ideas of affect and effect, especially in relation to the encoding and decoding of artwork and ideas surrounding authorship. The Apollonian refers to the ability to make analytic distinctions, a very constructed approach relating to all types of form or structure. It relies on form for its effect, and the Dionysian refers to the inability or unwillingness to make these clear distinctions, relating to a more emotional and inspirational outlook. Banksy's work is long known for its evasive nature, open to multiple interpretations. Although this can be seen as a pinnacle in postmodern art, it is often argued that this ambiguity and his decision to stay anonymous to the wider public has stunted his ability to successfully convey any message through his art. This is mainly because he's trying to tackle broad concepts and systemic issues in a single piece of work. He is almost always clever in his perception. The inculcation of quirky, surrealist elements make him a very agreeable and often attractive artist to the public. These open-ended pieces mean that there is a good chance that half of the audience can make sense of your work in opposition to what you intended. For instance, Kissing Coppers was a famous piece of artwork that was originally spray-painted onto the walls of a pub in Brighton. It could either be read as a humorous attempt at ridiculing homophobic tendencies, or it could be read as an artwork looking to humiliate conventionally masculine cops who secretly foster homosexual fantasies, which then unintentionally aligns with the homophobic rhetoric. With the auction stunt, the intended affect was to make a mockery of the high-end art market and the notion of anti-capitalist work fueling capitalist markets. Quite simply a mockery of individuals willing to pay huge sums for artwork that is quintessentially mocking them. All of Banksy's artwork has looked at drawing attention to norms and social structures that have been wrongfully hypernormalized. He intends to draw attention to third-level simulations, as introduced by John Baudrillard, where
we no longer have the distance from the spectacle to stand back and see who is manipulating it as such.
For instance, Banksy has often critiqued sweatshop labor, tethering it to slavery and highlighting it as a common modern-day crisis, a crisis that is abundant in means directly affecting the population. But what do? We still distance ourselves as the viewers and subjects part of a concrete world not correlated to this crisis. This is what Baudrillard means by the hyperreal.
Our inclination to a kind of virtual reality by producing models of what we want reality to be.
Banksy's work exposing cheap labor is again commodified by art markets and various other outlets who plaster it on to posters, mugs, and other merchandise produced at said sweatshops for profiteering, once again defeating its purpose. The affect intended could also have been the creation of a successful piece of anti-establishment performance art, a post-digital phenomenon defying traditional boundaries of what performance art should look like, with fit-for-purpose equipment, a simple trigger button mechanism, a plethora of onlookers in complete awe as they witness the unexpected, a sharing platform that is fit for purpose, of successfully broadcasting video content, and a venue perfectly fit for narrowcasting the message to the target audience. Another very figurative and symbolic affect intended could be what the artist quite directly implied in his caption for the short snippet on Instagram, where he quoted Pablo Picasso, "The urge to destroy is also a creative urge." The intended affect is quite brief and elementary when compared to the effect that followed at the wake of this event. As controversial as the artist is to begin with, pulling off this stunt attracted both positive and negative attention. Some claimed it to be a historical moment in the art world, and others denounced him as being deceptive and financially motivated. A lot of Banksy fans thought of it as quite the anti-establishment prank. The anti-capitalist rhetoric is further amplified in the directorial cut video, where phrases like
more champagne
and
oh gracious
are featured. Opposition to this rhetoric is mainly fueled by the fact that Banksy not only immediately claimed the act, he was also quick in titling the supposed new piece of art, calling it Love is in the Bin. It was seen as a huge marketing stunt as the act was quite publicized, and if it was to be perceived as a reactionary to his art being sold at market value, then why did the artwork not completely self-destruct, and why did the artist willingly claim this new piece of work? And so, the question is raised by many if the purpose was of destruction or of the live creation of something brand new, doubling as a spectacle. The most predominant effect following the event was the predicted increase in value of the painting. To critically approach this notion of value, we need to examine if Banksy's work is exceptionally valuable to begin with. Banksy is unarguably one of the most prominent graffiti artists in the world. This popularity results from various reasons, including the blunt nature of his artwork and his unapologetically direct messages. A suggested reason why Banksy is seen as such a valuable asset to the young, supposedly anti-capitalist youth is that although his art comes across as something that requires complex breakdowns and sophisticated interpretations, it is truly quite simple, and anyone with a passing knowledge of the workings of the world can make sense of it. As the Russian-American philosopher Ayn Rand once said when deriding post-structuralist thinkers, the idea of
if I don't understand it, it's deep
roots from the notion of sophistication linked with an audience whose intellect and ability to decode a message is what identifies them with a community of people who understands the same message, and so they believe they exclusively are the targeted audience of narrowcast, making them feel all kinds of special. Banksy's success is largely driven on exclusivity, while he is in today's world a very inclusive artist. So that was my take on Banksy's auction stunt and all that followed. In conclusion, I would like to point out the not very transparent effect in the mysterious case of the girl with the balloon. A postmodernist skepticism towards the art market. Was the stunt Banksy's attempt at an artsy lol, a successful situationist detonment, or was it a joke on us, the audience, as we partake in the very system he makes fun of, or was it simply a commodified piece of performance art?